Hi. A couple of days ago we uploaded a video, Help This Little Girl Save These Two Kitties, in which we told a story, and I believe a beautiful story, of a little girl that found two kitties in a developing country, in Tunis, North Africa, and instead of looking away, she took them to her place, she nursed them, she loved them, and when she had to leave, she left them under good care in the hope that somehow she will be able to bring them back to her country. It's a beautiful story. Turns out that the girl couldn't organize a transfer. I mean, those of you who are involved in animal rescue know that to take an animal from one country to another one can be a very complicated process. And this process, if you have ever moved to another location, if you have ever moved to another country, you know that there are all kinds of rules, regulations, there are all kinds of issues with the airlines. This is difficult. And this is difficult for me, and this is more difficult for a 14-year-old girl and her family who know nothing about moving dogs and cats around the world. So she wrote me this beautiful letter and she asked for my help. I get beautiful letters from people all the time, and I try to help as much as I can. But there is something about a letter written by a kid that really touches me. And I'm sure it's because I have two children, and I can imagine them being in a position of reaching out to someone like me and asking for help. I'm not the kind of person to say no to something like this. So, Sergio and I, our videographer and camera and film person, jumped on a plane and we went to Tunisia. Now, Tunisia is a very exotic land and is a faraway world in many ways for many people. But to us, it's just an hour flight. It takes shorter for me to go to Tunisia than to go to, the capital of the city. It's a much shorter flight. So, it wasn't a big deal. But of course, when we arrived there, it was a different world. Now, this video, contrary to what I thought, instead of generating the inspiring effect that I hope it will have, it generated a lot of critics. And some of these critics, they were so raw and so visceral that I think that I have to address them on this video. Now, what is the point of saving two kitties when there are 200,000 cats on the streets? That, I think, will be the question, and that's something that I want to answer today. To answer this question, I would like to go back to the beginning of this organization, to our story, to our founding principles, because we had those, and what moves us as a persons and as people and as animal rescuers. This is important. When I created Let's Adopt, I remember I was in a coffee shop in Turkey with a couple of friends, and we were looking for a motto. We were looking for something that would define this organization. And we came up with this phrase, saving animals, inspiring people. That's not just a catchphrase. Those are not empty words. This is the essence of what we do. Saving animals, inspiring people. Because without inspiring people, you cannot effect change. I can save all the animals I want. I can store them in massive shelters. There are shelters out there with 300, 400 animals. But if those people don't reach out to others, it's a vain effort. It's, what? In the end, you end up with a massive shelter with 400 animals, barely being able to give them any food and completely lacking the inspiring effect. You cannot build a community if you not reach out. And there is only so much you can do. So when I have criticisms of people saying, but I do all of this on my own and I can barely eat and I don't show anybody my work, they write to me like this is a good thing. No, this is not a good thing. This is a bad thing. It's bad. It's good that you're doing this from the good of your own heart and you're helping the animals around you, but in the long term, it's bad because this destroys your entire life and you're not able to care for those animals. You need to reach out to people. You need to build a community around your efforts if you want those efforts to really mean anything. And how would I be inspiring those people? It will be through the power of stories. Each animal we rescue is a different story. It's a rescue story that happens from the beginning to the end over a process, and usually those takes months. During all that time, people see the animal evolving, people see things happening, small progresses, setbacks. This is a continuous living, real-time life story, and this is very powerful. From the beginning, we focus on extreme cases. Extreme cases means animals that couldn't be treated by anybody else. Animals that were left behind by their owners, accidents, animal abuse, vets, other animal rescues. You know, when I started in this mission, it was a very common comment I would get that, oh well, it's too expensive to treat, it's better to put him down, or it's better to put him to sleep. Those are euphemisms for it's better to kill the animal. Let's get real, okay? Let's just this is a conversation between adults. It's not put to sleep. The animal doesn't go asleep. The animal dies. Now, this is called euthanasia, and euthanasia is very valid, and it's okay if you do it only under certain circumstances. And for euthanasia to be acceptable, you have to have reached really the end, the point where the animal can never improve and you can never alleviate pain. That's when it's valid. But to put an animal down because it's easy and because it's cheap and because, that is completely unacceptable to us. So those cases, we decided to focus on those. Why? Because we realized very quickly that those animals could be saved, that the only thing you needed to do was to have a good veterinary team and apply science. Animals are incredibly strong, and if you do that, then very likely the animal is going to make it. So we started rescuing those animals, and it wasn't to our surprise to see that those animals were surviving. The vast majority of them made incredible recoveries and went on to have perfectly and beautiful, happy lives. And those of them who didn't find homes, they stayed with us. And we created an entire structure around them so that we could give them amazing lives for the rest of their lives. Now, to do this, it was impossible to do it on my own. I couldn't. I had to build a community of friends, community of supporters, people that share the same principles as me, and that would be willing to say, okay, look, here are $10 every month. I'm going to help you. Or here are 20, whatever it is, 1, 5, whatever. But when you inspire enough people, then you can build wonders. And this is what we have tried to do every single day for the last 15 years. So what we wanted to do was to inspire a change in mentalities. People, instead of people saying, oh, well, it's easier to put him down, they will start thinking, okay, well, maybe I should fight for the animal. And this affects not only animals on the streets and rescues, but their own animals. I received thousands of letters over the years, really, truly, thousands of them, thanking me for inspiring them to fight for their own animal, to take the animal to another vet, to get a second opinion, to reach out to other people, and to find a solution that didn't imply having to kill the animal. There is a principle that's called the butterfly effect. The butterfly effect says that small things can have non-linear impact on complex structures. That means the wings of a butterfly can create a cyclone very down the line. I do believe in this. Things have a ripple effect. You never know whose life you're gonna touch. You never know if that girl that I helped in Tunisia may become an incredible animal rescuer, and by inspiring her to help other people, we will have saved millions of animals. Maybe this girl is gonna be an amazing scientist, and because of the faith that I have given them in human kindness, she's gonna build incredible things. You never know, but I choose to believe that with my actions and with the structure that we're building something good. But to do this, you cannot be a cynic. Many of the comments we got were from people that say, oh, well, this is all a show. Why doing this? If you're never going to change anything, you should help the animals in your doorstep, the animals in your country. But then to this, my question is, what do you mean the animals in my country? Do you mean my country, or do you mean the cities in my country? Because if I follow your line of thought, then why would I be helping somebody in another city instead of somebody in my city? Or actually, even better, why don't I focus on saving the animals on my neighborhood only? Or even better, why don't I save the animals on my street? The fact is that there are no animals on my streets. I saved them all. When I arrived to where I live, there were some cats on the street. We neutered them, we got them little by little. I got some of them, we found them homes. There are no more animals on the street. So what now? Is my life as an animal rescuer finished? I mean, don't you see that this mentality is what keeps you small as a person? You cannot be thinking only about taking care of your own. This in the end is what the world is a much better place. It's a big place. It's fantastic. There are all kinds of people and all kinds of countries and all kinds of situations that you can have an effect on if you use, the technology that we have evolved and we have created. Social media is incredible. It's a superpower, but it's only a superpower if you know how to use it. It's only a superpower if you can leverage social media to create good. Otherwise, this is just crack cocaine. This is just something to keep people entertained and waste their entire lives. This is not what we're doing here. This is not an entertaining channel. This is a place where we take life and death decisions constantly, and we do it to the best of our abilities, and we do it with good in our hearts, believe me. So when I get criticisms like saying, this is all a show. No, this is not a show. This is just me putting my life at the service of those two kitties in order to inspire people. These kitties will be saved. That girl is the happiest girl in the world, and you will see her, and the day you will see her, you will understand why this all was so worthy. And these kind of rescues are going to continue. But actually, this is not new. Some of you will have seen this one and will have, what? We have been doing this from day one. Remember, this organization was born not in the place where we are right now, in Spain. It was born in Turkey. From Turkey, we rescued animals not only in Turkey, but in countries around them. We inspire an entire community of people in Bulgaria, in Indonesia. We rescued animals from the States. We saved animals from shelters in the States, gas chambers in Nashville. I couldn't have done all of this if I only focus on the animals on my little street. And that's the difference between building a network and building an entire community, or just being a selfish idiot, which is what some of these people unfortunately are. And then there are people who say, but you are there, you're on the streets, you see so many animals, why do you only rescue two? I mean, there are you encounter hundreds of animals, why don't you take them all? And those people write this, and they're serious, and that's the sad part of it. That's the sad part of it, that they are really serious. They think that you can go as an individual to another country with some kind of truck, collecting hundreds of animals, putting them on flights, and taking them to another place. I cannot do this. I'm sorry. And I tell you, we know every single trick, and we know everything to do things effectively. But I cannot do something like this. When I go to another place, I am an observator. I go and I document and I see. I can assure you, if any of these cats had been injured or in pain or in real danger, I would have taken them. I would have taken him to a vet. I would have had the animal treated. I would have followed every procedure. And then a couple of months down the line, I would have gone to the country and I would have got the animal. But I cannot be going around collecting hundreds of animals that I see on the streets. Don't you see it? Don't you see it? I know the vast majority of you understood what I did, but still, those nagging cynics, they really get to me. And this is a problem. I mean, many of you will say, but stop focusing on those people. No, but it's important because, anyway, we're humans, right? We're human. So those kind of things affect us. When you're doing something so complex, and when you're doing something with such a reach, and so potentially so inspiring, and you have a bunch of idiots telling you that you're doing nothing because you didn't save them all. And you kind of wonder, I mean, you think, is this worth it? I mean, who am I talking to? What kind of people are there watching my videos? But then I realized that, this is real life, and many of you are wonderful. A vast majority of you are incredible people. There's only going to be some moron in a basement out there to destroy the work of others just because he thinks he can. But the truth is, he can't. Because 15 years later, after we started this adventure, we're still here. And day after day, 24 hours a day, we continue working to save lives. And we've made such a progress. Unbelievable. So, this YouTube channel is going to continue producing inspiring stories. It's going to be continuing doing things that you don't see anywhere else. Why? Because that's who we are. And because what we're really aiming for here is to build a bigger community. Sometimes people comment, oh, but this channel is so underrated. It only has 500,000 people. It deserves more. I do believe it deserves more, but it's a slow growth, and those people are going to come to us through our actions. This channel isn't going to fill our people if suddenly I start recording myself on my car ranting every day. No, this channel is going to grow by doing things that inspire people that people wish they could do. But what's going to be your reaction? Are you going to be helping, or are you going to be just sitting there and criticizing people that are giving their lives for the cause? Everybody does things differently, and everybody does this to the best of their ability and the best of their knowledge. And in the same way that you don't see me here criticizing any other animal rescuers, because that's not what we do. It's pointless for you to tell me that this is all a show because I saved 2 lives. Well, my reply to you is that I saved 2 lives that you didn't save. So I did so much more than you did. And I will continue doing it until my body says, look, stop, you cannot do it anymore. Until then, I will continue building this community, and I will continue creating amazing content, and I will do it the best I can, and that's all there is. So guys, that's it. That was my rant for the day. Thanks a lot for being here. Thanks for clicking and watching till the end. That's very important, and enjoying our content. And always think that behind those videos, there's always, we are good people. We're good people trying to do good work. And I do believe this is worth it. Guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. And if any of you would like to help us in this inspiring journey, please just click here, join us on Patreon, and become one of the people that make this possible. Take care. See you soon.